Wow, AI animation is really taking off. I mean, just a few months ago, we were talking about the few tools out there, and now, bam, there's a ton, and they're free. We're diving into all of that today.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast things are changing. The barriers are just gone.
It really feels like it.
Yeah.
We're actually looking at this YouTube video today, and they go through a whole bunch of these free AI animation tools with demos and everything. Makes you wonder, like, how does this even work now for artists? What do they need to know?
Well, they highlight one tool called Minimax, and the big thing there is that it's completely free, like unlimited use.
That's kind of unheard of, right? Usually you get a few free tries, and then they're like, okay, pay up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big deal because it makes animation accessible to, anyone who wants to try it out.
It's true. It's not just the tech either. They actually make it super easy to use. You just type in what you want to see, and Minimax takes a stab at animating it. I mean, they show it right on their homepage: explosions, a cat walking a wolf down a runway, even some surprisingly good character animation.
I was really impressed by the character animation, actually. They've got this example, a man walking with a dragon, and the movement is really fluid, especially the walk cycles. That's something that's always been a pain to animate traditionally.
Ugh, tell me about it. I tried to do walk cycles back in college, let's just say. It was a whole thing. So to see AI just kind of nail it is, I don't know, a little intimidating.
Yeah,
Mm.
it does make you wonder what the future holds. Imagine if we could skip all those tedious parts of animation and get right to the good stuff, the storytelling, the emotional depth.
Okay, but you can't just type in anything and expect a masterpiece, right? Like, there's
Right.
got to be some skill involved
Oh,
still.
definitely. The video talks about prompt refinement, how you need to learn to talk to these AI tools. They use the example, a woman walking through a high security facility, and the first results weren't great.
It's like you get out what you put in, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you've got to learn how to guide the AI. It's more of a collaboration,
So more like directing than just giving orders. Makes sense.
right? And like any creative tool, it takes practice. You have to learn its quirks.
No instant animation gratification then. Okay, I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah.
Especially with tools as fun and easy to use as, well, the next one they talk about is Vingle.
Vingle's interesting because it's less focused on like realistic animation and more on that quick shareable stuff, like memes or viral videos.
Totally. And the video really captures that. They show this example. I can't even describe it, but it's hilarious and you instantly get it. But then they go on to show, like, okay, it's not just for laughs. They've got this character swap feature, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And the video actually uses that same woman in high security facility
Yeah.
example.
For Minimax.
Right.
Yeah.
But they swap her out for an alien. It's really seamless. It's wild, right? They turn her into some kind of undercover shapeshifter. Really well done.
It makes you think, like, the possibilities are pretty huge. You can take existing footage and just completely reimagine it. That's powerful.
It is. And the video actually makes a good point about how even with these AI tools, you still need those traditional editing skills.
Yeah.
They actually show how they use Premiere Pro to, blend the clips, add some effects, really polish it up.
Right. It's not like AI is replacing everything. It's more like it's giving us these new tools to work with alongside what we already know.
Exactly. It's about combining the best of both worlds.
Okay, so we've got tools for creating the animation, for swapping characters, but what about the actual quality of the video? They talk about this in the video, how a lot of AI-generated stuff can look, I don't know, kind of blurry.
Yeah, resolution can be a problem. It's a lot of data for those algorithms to handle.
So what's the fix? They mentioned this tool, Korea, which is also free, and it's basically an upscaler, but it seems to do more than just make it bigger. It's like it adds detail that wasn't even there before.
It's true. A lot of upscalers just increase the pixel count, but Korea seems to like understand the image and fill in the gaps in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, and get this, they have a 120 fps upscale option, which is insane.
That's huge. It means you can get this incredibly smooth, lifelike motion, maybe even more so than you could with traditional animation.
It's mind-blowing, really. Okay, so we've talked about visuals, but what about bringing those characters to life, making them talk?
Ah, lip syncing. That can be a deal breaker if it's not done well.
Totally. So they look at two tools for that. First, there's Hydra, which is supposed to be really good for, like, stylized characters, not just realistic ones. Of course, they had to show the talking potato example.
Oh, so too good.
Right. But then there's live portrait, and this one is next level. It can actually map lip movements onto existing video, even if there's movement and angle changes.
Wow, that's impressive. I can't even imagine the technology behind that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. They show it off with like a singing Viking, and it's really
Oh,
convincing.
that's the thing with these tools is like suddenly anyone can create a whole animated short with dialogue, music, without needing a huge studio or anything. It's amazing.
It really feels like we're at this turning point. But the video doesn't stop there, you know? They go on to highlight even more tools, each with their own little niche.
It's like a gold mine for anyone interested in AI animation. And they even circle back to video editing with a feature in CapCut that most people probably don't even realize is there.
Right. CapCut, which, it's a pretty basic video editor, but it's got this really powerful built-in video upscaler. Super useful for this kind of stuff. But then the video gets kind of meta, They start talking about what this explosion of free AI animation tools actually means for creators. Like, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, it's almost like, is this too much power? Like, where do we even fit in? They
Mm.
actually mentioned this stat. 48% of marketers are worried AI is going to take their jobs. Kind of scary, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. But I think what's interesting is that the video doesn't try to pretend those fears aren't real. They're
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, this is happening. How do we deal with it?
Right. Like pretending it's not happening isn't going to help anyone. Exactly. We've got to adapt it, right? Figure out how to use these new tools to our advantage.
So, how do we do that? How do we future-proof ourselves, so to speak?
I think it's about focusing on the things that AI can't do, at least not yet. Like, critical thinking, creative problem solving, understanding emotions. Those things will always be valuable.
So, it's more about working with AI than being afraid of it.
Exactly. Using it to enhance our own skills, not replace them entirely.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better about this whole thing. It's not about AI taking over. It's about AI giving us new ways to express ourselves, to tell stories, you know, and that's actually pretty exciting.
Absolutely. So I guess the question for everyone listening is, what creative project have you always wanted to try? Maybe one of these free AI tools is the push you need to actually make it happen.
I love that. That's such a great note to end on. So, yeah, forget the fear, grab some of these awesome tools, and see what you can make. Who knows? Maybe the next big thing in animation will be yours. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into free AI animation. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and of course, keep diving